I was sitting at the end of my bed hugging myself. Why? Because I wanted to know what it would feel like to be locked in a dreamy, romantic embrace with the boy of my dreams.
I think that is the saddest beginning to a book that I've ever read.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
This book was written by Suzanne Wein. Claudia has gotten the short end of the stick in the boyfriend department. She's just as boy crazy as Stacy, but all of her romance has been with vacation boyfriends and super specials. She's had no love in the main series. Why can't she have a perfect boyfriend, like Ned Nickerson in the Nancy Drew series? Sure, he's got no personality at all in some of the books, but he makes for great eye candy. Claudia makes a list of things she wants in a boyfriend. Athletic, tall, talks a lot, and listens a lot. Those two things are opposites, by the way. Corrects her mistakes, but isn't critical. Again, two opposites. Funny, artistic, good dresser. Now you're just talking about yourself, Claudia. Finally, Claudia's perfect guy must be crazy about her. I'm pretty sure all she wants is someone to follow her around all day and tell her she's pretty. She doesn't seem to care about her boyfriend's interests or personality as long as he provides constant emotional validation. Claudia, you'll never find a good boyfriend if you're that self-centered. Stacy helps Claudia with the great boyfriend search. She says boys are afraid of Claudia because she's so amazingly wonderful, it's scary. No, actually, I think boys are afraid of Claudia because she dresses like a maniac, and she throws a fit whenever somebody points out she misspelled the word the. Stacy suggests finding a boyfriend through a personal ad. Personal ads were basically the pre-internet version of dating websites. You'd write a little blurb about yourself, pay money to have it printed in a newspaper, then you'd get phone calls from creepy weirdos for the next few weeks. Claudia gets put in charge of running a personal section in the school's weekly paper. It's an instant hit, and Claudia gets so many letters she has trouble cutting them down so they all fit. She also has trouble with spelling, until Stacy introduces her to a brand new invention, spellcheck. That's right. Claudia doesn't know what spellcheck is, even though her older sister has had a computer ever since the series started 8 years ago. Claudia is kind of an idiot. One personal ad is from a boy named Sean, whose parents are divorcing. He's taking it really hard. Claudia talks it over with her friends, and she tells Sean that he should see Dr. Reese, Marianne's therapist from the Chain Letter book. Sean just shrugs and leaves, but at the end of the book, the therapist helps change his life for the better. He's incredibly happy and grateful to Claudia, which could be the start of a great relationship, but he's a 6th grader, so she doesn't even think about dating him. That would have been a good ending, though. In the unrelated subplot, the Barretts discover their baby is allergic to dogs. That means they'll have to get rid of their beloved basset hound. Oh, the other kids throw a fit at the idea of losing their dog forever, and it's really sad. But we get a happy ending where the Pike family agrees to adopt the dog, so they can visit Pow whenever they want. Hooray! We're over halfway through the book. You might have noticed we haven't even started the Perfect Boy storyline yet. Uh-oh. Claudia responds to 2 boys who write personal ads. First is Great Guy, who's kinda cocky. Claudia realizes that he's Alan Gray, the biggest pest in school. Oh no! She can't date him, at least not until a later book, so she distracts Alan with a story about her friend who's got a secret crush on him. I have to imagine that after this conversation, Alan spent weeks flirting with Christy. The other guy is Good Listener, whose real name is Brian Hall. They have lunch at the Rosebud Cafe. It takes about a page of conversation for Claudia to decide she doesn't like him, because he's got a collection of model cars. How boring. She gets annoyed when he doesn't ask her any questions, even though, like I said, his nickname is literally Good Listener. In other words, Claudia is being a jerk for no reason. She decides this guy's not as handsome as she first thought, and the conversation drags. They never date again, but on the way out, she runs into Liza. Thanks to Claudia's column, Liza found a great boyfriend who loves ancient Egypt as much as she does. Oh, it's true love made in Egypt. Originally, Liza said she wouldn't date any short guys, but they are so good together she doesn't care about his height. See, Claudia? That's what you should do. You should give guys a legitimate chance instead of automatically rejecting them at the start for not being perfect. Sadly, Claudia doesn't learn a lesson from Liza's example. All she does is complain, "Liza found a boyfriend, why can't I?" Claudia has a hard time fitting everything into her column that week. She cuts out words and switches things around. The problem? She accidentally switches Marianne's lovey-dovey ad for Logan with an ad about dumping a loser boyfriend. Logan reads it, he gets furious, it's actually really hilarious. It takes him a while to calm him down, and humorously, the girl who wrote the bad boyfriend ad doesn't care about the mix-up. She got lots of responses to Marianne's ad. Claudia notices some of the ads sound perfect for each other, so she ends up writing a second column called Claudia Advises, where she matches up the various people. We never hear about this again. Claudia goes on a date with a guy named Rock. His ad sounds nice, but he ends up being a jerk with a gross skull tattoo. He is obsessed with all things Eastern, like sushi and Tai Chi, and the migration from China to Alaska 14,000 years ago. Claudia doesn't like the conversation because it's weird, vaguely racist, and Rock keeps talking about Eastern things even when she tells him to stop. What a jerk. Claudia's last date is with a guy named Kurt. We don't see the date, but she says it was at the arcade. I think they only included these 2 paragraphs to justify the cover art. Claudia finally gets smart and writes her own personal ad. Took her long enough. All the responses are bad except for one. It's from the perfect guy. Claudia gets extremely worked up over finding out his real identity. Stacy confesses she wrote the letter. Stacy is Claudia's perfect boy? Whoa, I did not see this coming. Stacy explains she was trying to lift Claudia's spirits. Claudia's mad for a while, but she can't hold a grudge in the last chapter. She decides to stop actively looking for the perfect boy. Who needs him when she already has perfect friends? The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was good. It had a bunch of different storylines, and all of them worked. The story never dragged at any point, and I'm perfectly satisfied. I think there could have been more focus on the title storyline, as Claudia only has 2 dates in this book. I would have loved seeing Claudia go out with a different guy every day for 7 chapters in a row. The newspaper storyline is longer than the dating storyline, but I 100% understand why it's marketed as a dating book, not a newspaper book. Stacy says Claudia is right to have so many requirements for the perfect boy. It's good to have high standards instead of settling for a non-perfect person. At the end of the book, Stacy changes her mind and suggests Claudia's standards are too high. Continuity! Claudia's column is 2,160 characters long. Claudia can't math, so this is her excuse to bring Stacy in to help her. For reference, this review is about 8,000 characters, or 4 times Claudia's column. Overall, it was a good, fast-paced book. Some of Claudia's ideas about relationships are flat out wrong, but that's realistic because she's in middle school. It's not exactly the book that the title promised, but it's still great. I wish all the dating books in the series were this good. I give Babysitter's Club number 71, Claudia and the Perfect Boy, a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, can I make the joke that I've been dying to make this entire review? Claudia wants to date the perfect boy? Why didn't she date me in middle school? Oh, right, because I was in middle school and I had exactly 0 interest in dating. Yeah, that's more of a high school thing.